Darlene Morgan here of Morgan Law Group. We're going to talk today about choosing the right trustee for your estate. So this is a very important decision, and sometimes it's very difficult to decide when you're setting up your estate who is going to be the trustee. So you're going to want to choose somebody very carefully to handle your wishes and to take on that important job and to really represent your best interest and to make sure that it would be someone who will follow your instructions with the utmost care and responsibility. So to help you make the right decision, it helps to understand exactly what a trustee does and what you should consider in choosing that person. So first off, let's define what the trustee is. Now, the trustee is the person who's actually named in your trust to manage and control the assets of the trust for your benefit. If you're alive, if you're incapacitated, they're going to step in. If you can't manage your assets for yourself, then your trustee will step in on your behalf to manage the trust assets for your benefit. And if you pass away, their job is to manage and control the assets for the benefit of your beneficiaries, to collect the assets, follow the instructions, and then make the distributions to the beneficiaries and or manage those trust assets until the beneficiaries can actually receive them. It is a position of trust, obviously, and it holds a fiduciary duty, meaning that it's a very high level of responsibility in the eyes of the law. So what should you consider when naming a trustee? Well, it can be a big job, and it is a lot of responsibility. The trustee is the person who is going to manage those assets, and it can be very time-consuming. Depending on the beneficiaries, it can be a demanding job where the beneficiaries make a lot of demands on the trustee. So you're going to have to pick somebody who's up to the job, someone who could handle this kind of responsibility and has certain character traits. So some of the character traits that we like to think about is loyalty, a sense of fairness, obviously trustworthiness, practicality, someone who has some common sense, that they're going to be able to administer the trust and make really good decisions when things come up. We definitely want to find somebody who's organized and who can feel confident in dealing with paperwork and deadlines. Finally, I think you want somebody who's tough, who has a certain strength of character, that they can't be easily influenced, or they have some stamina, that they're going to be able to withstand some of the pressures that come along with the job and potentially deal with beneficiaries who might be difficult, beneficiaries who might be grieving and not be at their best, which can make it a lot more difficult. So who do you have to choose from? First off, only an adult can serve. Here in California, that means that you at least have to be 18 years old to be able to serve as a trustee. You have to at least be an adult. You can choose friends or family. People ask me sometimes about that. You can choose a bank. Most of the major banks have trust departments. You can also choose a private fiduciary. So a private fiduciary is somebody who has been licensed, bonded through the state. That's their job. That's what they do, Typically, they're CPA, they have accounting backgrounds, and that is that's basically all they do, is they handle trusts for independent people as a neutral. They're a neutral third party. So that's a good choice for a lot of people, to have someone outside of the family, because then you don't get all the family emotions involved in administering the trust. So that's the upside. It's great to have that independent person who is very experienced, and that's their job. They know what they're doing. The downside is there's a cost. There is they charge a fee based upon their services. Sometimes it's usually a fair fee that's reasonable and in the community for what they're doing. But that would be the thing to consider. And obviously it's someone that you don't usually know very well, which sometimes people don't like that. But having a private fiduciary is definitely a consideration. People ask me whether they should ask their trustee, and I do recommend that. It's better to know in advance and discuss it with the person if this is a role that they would be willing to take on, if they would be comfortable with that job. That way they can ask questions, they can try and understand exactly what they would need to do. They also then would be able to maybe find out who your attorney is that you've been working with, learn where you keep your documents so that they would be able to find them if there was an emergency or a crisis. So I do recommend that you talk to your trustee, your potential trustee, in advance of naming them, which would make the process go a lot smoother. And it sometimes does help when our clients are here with us to talk through it with me or with one of the attorneys here about how to choose a trustee, just because we have a lot of experience with helping people make that decision, answering specific questions about who to name and what their various, the pros and cons are, and then offering a neutral recommendation for who to name as trustee, and really provide that kind of expert guidance so that you really can have the confidence that you're choosing the right person to be your trustee, because it is such an important job. So please reach out, contact us if we can be of help, schedule a consultation with us, and we can go from there and help you choose who would be the right trustee for your estate.